Hey there, I'm going to show you how I set up Resolume Avenue for live streaming and what kind of cool things you can do. Let's start out with a new composition. Open up a set of DJ overlays. Now I have something here from Serato, and I'll post a link to that in the description. Serato has put out a pack of high quality layered graphics that you can use while DJing. And so we'll take a look at those right now. So I have a brand new composition. I turn the video up, and I'm just gonna move some elements on there. Let's see how that looks. So I've arranged these layers, and I'm going to add another one above. We have our desk at the front, and that looks like this. Remember to turn the video up. Now we add our video feed. So under sources, I have a source here with my green screen. I'm going to go ahead and put a chroma key effect on there. If you're just using green screen, you can set 90. I'm going to select my camera feed, and I'm going to just resize the transform down below. And my goal here is to just slightly go under the booth element. So we want just slight overlap, and that gives it a nice feeling of depth, rather that the booth is indeed in front of you. Now, on a very basic level, we have our basic setup, and maybe that's fine. Maybe this is all you want from your scene. So what you can do to get this into OBS is you just go to Output, and you select Texture, Sharing, Syphon, and then select that in OBS. So in OBS, we can go to Sources, and you see here Syphon Client. So you add a Syphon client. You see I already have a Avenue object there. And there you go. It's as simple as that. So that's the very basic foundation. So let's expand on that a little bit more. Let's add one more scene. The club scene is a good one. I've gone ahead and converted gifs to MOV. I found that gifs seem to choke Avenue up a little bit. It sputters on gifs. So if you use Resolume Alley, which is a free utility that they provide to convert GIFs into MOVs beforehand, they run much better. Specifically, if you're trying to play a GIF backwards, really chokes it up. So anyway, so I'm going to open up, same thing, let's put a background there. Let's go ahead and resize that, fit there. I'm going to put a booth. I'm going to keep it in the same layer there. So right here in the preview, you can easily just adjust the transforms of everything you have. Okay, so I'm going to keep it like that. I'm going to copy and paste the camera feed and adjust that for this column, like that. And that's pretty much it. At this point, you can add a couple of decorative elements. So here is a speaker that I'm going to add here. So we line it up, and yeah, so we can just click the column and switch between scenes. Now that we have two different scenes to switch from, we can automate the switching. What we're going to do is go into Composition, go into Autopilot, select the shuffle, select the duration as beats, and then set it to a multiple of 16 beats or 32 or 4, depending on how long you want your scenes to be. And now we see that the composition is shuffling through them randomly. But if you have multiple cameras, you can't really just have the camera feed on one layer, because different scenes have different transforms for the camera. So when we activate a clip that shows a camera for our column, another column might have a completely different position for that camera. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a dedicated layer for the camera, and a video router will allow us to place it in our scenes. I'm going to add two layers to start. First, I'm going to call one of them cameras and the other one backdrop. Under backdrop, we're just going to go to sources and put solid color. And what this is going to do is separate our special layers from our graphical layers. I change it to black, and and I right click, select thumbnail and update. So now we have a black icon there. If we don't have the black backdrop, then we see the camera. For example, see if we were using a scene that didn't fully block the background out, our behind the scenes layers would be exposed. Instead, we give it a solid color. We're going to right click on that layer for backdrop. We're going to click ignore column trigger, and we're going to do that for camera too. So ignore column trigger means we can hit the columns here without changing what's selected on that layer. So I'll pick the camera, I'll pick the backdrop, and what we want to do is where we had the cameras before, we actually want to replace them with a video router. I'm going to go to sources. I'm just going to drag the video router and I'm going to put it right where the camera object is. The next thing to do is select cameras as the input. And just like that, we have the transformed input. So we've already transformed it. We've already applied the chroma key, so we don't have to redo any of that. So you can replace camera sources with a video router really easily like that by actually dragging the source onto this row. Let's do that again. I'll do that here. Select cameras. So now we've got the option to change cameras, and let's actually try using that. So what if I want, for the sake of argument, let's say I have a different camera here. So now I can, if I am moving around, I have a different camera here. The scene will change. The camera does not. Scene will change 32 beats. Camera stays there. I can switch back to my other camera, or I can add any number of cameras here to switch between. I want to go ahead and add another layer. So add it below the backdrop. And we're going to put some visuals on there. So for this demo, I am just going to use visuals file somewhere here. Use that. So I have this bit here. I'm going to name this layer visuals. Visuals. It's called primary visuals. And we want to have it here in one of the paintings, for example. So I'm going to add a layer above painting. I'm going to add a video router here. Once again. And that video router, we're going to point to the primary visuals. Whoa. So cool. But let's make it a little more interesting. I'm going to shape this display and have it actually appear like it's part of this painting here. Let's get it pretty close. And then we're going to do something called a keystone crop to get it just right. So you're going to apply this onto the video router, not the source. So we're going to go find our keystone crop effect. We're going to put it on the video router. I'm going to turn on show grid. And then we're just going to line up the corners one at a time with the corners of our frame. So I'm starting with X, Y for one corner, X and Y for this corner. So you turn on the grid and it's quite easy to just screw them all, turn the grid off, and there you go. Now, what was the point of all that? What if you want to change the visuals? Now, it's as easy as doing that. Do the same thing here. Click ignore column trigger, and now your visuals are independent of your column. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the video router for our club scene, and we're going to put it on the TV back here. So let's take this video router. Let's bypass the keystone crop for now. Let's move our screen over here. Let's show the grid and turn the keystone crop back on and do the same thing. Just line the corners right on up. Turn off the grid. Great. Let's party. So we can turn autopilot back on. Oh, actually, let's add one more right here. So we're going to crop much of the video, but that's okay because for the sake of an effect, you know, it's still effective. All right. So let's see. Autopilot on random. Let's turn the beats down. Let's do every 8 beats. So we're going to go to a new location every 8 beats. We're able to switch between different visuals here and different cameras independently of the scene. Now to clean this up, make your life a little easier, we'll go ahead and to trigger the first clip on play for the backdrop. For the visuals, you don't have to do that because if there is no signal coming from that video router, it will just be blank. So you can actually pop in visuals later to throw some variety on. I could repeat this process for the other paintings by simply adding a layer here, putting a video router on it, and having it and adding a layer of visuals. So if instead of primary visuals, we add a layer called secondary visuals, put a different set of clips or even the same ones on there, or possibly even some other camera feeds, just add a layer for each separate stream of visuals, and then add a layer to display each of those streams. The next thing to do is to clean this up a little bit. We're going to select all, and we're just going to do thumbnail update. This will update the thumbnails with whatever you have going, so help you just quickly see what is where. The next thing we're going to do is label. I'm going to show you how to make some quick labels. So if we simply solo a layer with a text animator on it, I'll put a text on here. We'll call this green screen, and I'm just going to Command Shift 4 on my Mac. I'm going to take a shot of that preview. That gets saved automatically to my desktop. I'm going to right click my green screen clip. I'm going to go ahead and select thumbnail, load from file, and I'm going to select the image that I took. So now at least at a glance, I know what's a green screen. I'll repeat this for this one. I'll call it side cam, side view, and that's it. So with this basic setup, you can now have multiple live streaming overlays cycled periodically to the beat of music. So let me show what I think is the coolest part of this whole setup. So I'm gonna open up VirtualDJ. We're gonna activate Ableton Link first, turn it on your source, and then turn it on in Avenue. When you do that, you'll see that now they are linked. And what that means is I'm gonna go ahead and trigger a column at the drop. We'll see what that gives me.
Gotta get loose on me cruiser. Say they won't get me like bruiser. Double shot of Henny Grey Gooster. Blacked out whenever we group up. Paint the city red like a rooster.
And that's it. So now you know how to use Avenue to make your live streaming sets more dynamic and fun. Thanks for watching, and tune in for the next video where I'll show you how to make a chatbot that will let your Twitch users change these scenes and control effects from chat. All right, see you then.